Hello, my name is Jackson. I've been a game developer for 2 years, working on projects, and right now I'm using Claude Code to build my game called Tag Back, which I'm releasing on Steam. So far, my work process has been really insane, just using Claude Code, and I kind of looked around on the internet, and no one else is doing this yet. So I wanted to try and show you guys what this workflow is like, how to get it set up from the beginning, and how powerful it is. I'm just going to go ahead and get started and try working on our project. We're just going to explore together what this type of development flow with Claude Code works like in Godot. Um, and yeah, let's experiment together. So I'm going to make a new project. As you can see, every project you make in Godot is saved in some file path. This is really important because what we're doing when we're programming with Claude is we're giving it access to this file, to this folder where all your game files are saved. And when you start editing with Claude Code, it's going to go in and edit those files. So for this project, we're gonna make a Frogger clone. Um, so project name is Frogger. Everything else I'm gonna keep the same. Create a folder. Everything here looks good, and just press create. So now we have a new folder. Now that we have this, we want to make sure that we can start editing in Claude Code. So the first thing we're going to need is where this file is saved. If you saw earlier, it was saved in my documents, and that's actually what we want to be opening up in our Explorer. So I'm going to open a folder, and I'm going to go to my documents. I'm going to go to my documents, and you'll see the Frogger folder that we just made, and this will be the folder that we do all our editing in. I'm going to trust the authors because, as you just saw, I made this folder, or technically the Godot client built it out. But yes, I'm going to trust the authors. There's going to be a few key concepts when it comes to building a game using Claude as it is right now. And one of the most important things is context. So when Claude looks at your file system, it basically, determines its context from what already exists there. And if there's nothing there, then it's just going to build a context off of what you tell it. Now, one of the main problems is that whenever it needs to go build something, it takes a lot of time to scan through each file and figure out where the game is. And every time you pop up a new chat window, its context is cleared. So therefore you can't see. It has to relearn. So one of the best ways to manage context is with a Claude.md file. Claude.md is something that when you're using Claude Code, it goes in references before every time it makes a decision. So we're going to start by asking it to build. I'm going to start by asking it to build a Claude.md file. Sorry about this prompt. I'm starting a new Godot 4.6 project. I'm using Claude Code as a primary building tool. Create a Claude.md using the project specifications. This game is meant to be a clone of Frogger. Some of the requirements include a player which hops in 4 directions on discrete tiles. Once they get to the top of the screen, the player must see a victory screen. On the way, they must avoid cars moving left to right. They must also cross river sections where the floor will kill them, and they must hop on drifting logs to pass safely through a river. Okay, so obviously I've made a big mistake here. I went and typed the chat to the first chat window I saw. I'm pretty sure that this is Microsoft's Copilot. I do not want to use Copilot, so I'm going to X that out. If you want to see the Claude Code window, just click on this button here, and I'm going to paste the same prompt I used. We're missing. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and send this. Okay, and so just like that, we have a new Claude.md file. And if you see on the left here, we have all our files. Let's see. So project overview, 2D project clone. And if you scroll through, this is going to be all of the specifications I give it, plus how to actually build it in Godot. Begin building this project in the Godot file system based on the Claude.md file. And once again, we're just going to let it cook. And once it's done, we'll switch over to Godot and see what it came up with. Okay, so it started thinking, and it may, oh wow, it thought a lot. Okay. This is a lot of words. But we are just going to let it run. So why don't we go ahead and press yes, and so now it's gone from thinking, it's actually making some changes. Okay, so it just told us a very bold statement. Open Godot and it should run immediately. Godot will assign proper user IDs on first import. So let's open Godot. Immediately getting some errors, so let's see how it decides to do if we go ahead and press start. And look at that. We have a frog. He's moving left to right, and we have cars. Okay. This game looks really hard, but let's try it. Okay, so I hit one of the cars, and it seems to just send me back to the beginning. Let's see if I can beat it real quick. So one of the big issues I see is there's way too many cars. And they're all overlapping one another. The other thing is that this frog is huge. He's bigger than the cars. So here's how we'll continue. I'm very impressed. It made colors and attempted to make Among Us cars. But think about this. This is 2 prompts already. Now, oh my god. Yeah, is this game beatable? All right. Okay, let's go back to the drawing board. So, first of all, I'm gonna start. The game actually seems pretty doable from the beginning. And when you get to the end, yes, you win. Over time, not sure why, but the game starts bugging out. We start getting way too many cars on the screen. We don't want that. First, this is the most important thing. It just made a ton of changes. So what do we need to edit so that it understands these changes when we clear the context? That's going to be the Claude.md. Update the Claude.md based on the changes that were made. All right, wonderful. So we now have the Claude.md built out again. And what we need to do is, first of all, the game is a lot smaller than we want. However, what we need to focus on first is fixing what we do have. So one of the main bugs being the cars, and the second one is the frog is just way too big for the game. Fix the cars themselves. After that, we need to fix the cars themselves. Uh, as you can see, the spawning system was all messed up. At first, it looked kind of normal, and then it kept spawning way too many. So that's actually going to be the first thing I focus on. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is clear the context. So in Claude Code, there's a bunch of these things called slash commands. I'm going to do slash clear conversation, and everything that Claude was now thinking of is now gone. When I prompt it now, what it has to do before doing anything else is review the Claude MD. It's basically like starting fresh, almost like I clicked a new window on Claude to start a new chat. This is just going to make sure that it's not thinking about things that are unnecessary when it's making new changes. It can quickly review everything in the Claude MD file and execute based on that. When the game starts, the number of cars looks normal. However, as the game goes on, too many of them spawn. The player should be able to see one car at a time with a big enough gap in between them to move through. So something to note is that I'm not telling it anything in code. I'm just telling it what I need to see, and I'm gonna trust it. Like I said, this is just an experiment, so we'll see what it does. Okay, so it reported the 3 changes made. First of all, the cars now disappear when getting to the end of the screen, where previously they were wrapping back. So I can see now why there were an infinite number of cars. Second one is spawn car now checks if a car exists on that lane, and skips spawning if so. I can foresee this being an issue because the car might just, because there will only being one car on a lane at a time means it'll probably be too easy. And then all lanes now start with initial cars equal 1. Okay, let's go ahead and try it. Okay, off the bat, this looks much easier. Oh, and I still managed to lose. Okay. So this has been 3 prompts. Let's go to prompt number 4 because I think now there's too few cars. So now there's too few cars. Can you change it so that it's more challenging moving between them? It's okay to have multiple cars in a lane. They should not be overlapping or spawning too frequently. The distance between each car should be at least 2.5 of the player's length. Okay, so now we're finished. Let's go ahead and try it out. Okay, that looks like a much more reasonable number of cars, and now they're far enough apart that we can move between them. Next thing we're going to have here is I'm going to make the frog smaller just because he looks a little cumbersome and he's way bigger than these cars. So I'm just going to say simply, can you make the frog smaller? He's just as big as the cars right now. Okay. And let's go ahead and try it. So now this frog is a little smaller. Still hops big. So for the final change I want to try and do is implement a new feature. Right now, if you see the frog, he's just starting at the bottom of the screen and ending at the top of the screen. But in a normal Frogger game, it'd be much longer, and because it's longer, it's more difficult. So what I want is for the screen to scroll. We start at the bottom, and we can't even see the top. And as we move upwards, so will the camera, and it'll follow us all the way to the top. So let's start implementing this. I'm going to clear now that we're done bug fixing, and we're going to start a new feature. Okay, right now the player starts at the bottom of the screen and ends at the top. I want the game to be harder, so the frog should have to travel farther. Add more lanes to the road and make the camera scroll so that it follows the frog to the top of the screen. Now it's done, let's test it out. Okay, so we immediately have a lot more lanes. Our Among Us guys are looking deadly. Okay, so it's a little bit, it's not really a subtle camera change. Very jumpy, but, oh, and I lost right at the end. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. Nice. Looks good. We're gonna make 2 more changes and then we'll wrap it up. So first one is gonna be a simple one, just to carry development forward. First one, all the cars are looking kind of bland. I think we need some blue cars as well. I'm gonna try giving it 2 instructions at once and see how it handles it. 1, make some of the cars blue. 2, and something I noticed about the camera there that I don't like is that it's a little choppy when it jumped up. So I want to see smoothing on it. So add smoothing to the camera. More fluid when moving up and down. 40% chance. All right, so the changes are done. We got blue cars, we got camera smoothing. Let's cook. Let's cook. Press play. Look at those blue cars. We got blue cars now. Oh wow, that looks nice. That camera smoothing looks much better. Okay. This is starting to look like a Crossy Road competitor. And then those were some really narrowly focused changes. I just want to try one more thing. What if I want to introduce a broad, drastic change? In this case, I think that should be, let's add a river of death with some logs that we have to travel across in order to pass it. Right now, there's one section with cars. I want a brand new section, the River of Death. If the player falls in this river, they will be sent back to the beginning of the level. They must cross by hopping on logs that drift left and right, with different lanes moving at different speeds. Okay. So that took so long, I started watching YouTube videos. But it's seemingly cooked. I mean, let's just go ahead and play it and see what happens. Okay, so everything looks same as normal as before. All right, we're moving up. Oh, wow. That is new. Oh, and we died immediately upon touching it. Let me try that again. What if I hop on, this wooden part? No. What if I hop in the water? Let me try that as well. Right now, when the player attempts to jump on the log, they immediately get sent back to the start of the game. The player should be able to jump to the log and start moving along with it. All right, let's see what it comes up with here. That's interesting. We actually have context limit talking about here. Click to compact, 53% context used. And it's going to auto compact when we're done. All right, anyways, I'm just going to press play. All right, everything looks the same. We'll see when we get to the new log part how everything is going. Boom. Wow. Okay, I'm dead. Oh no, maybe not yet. Look at that. Okay, we have a game. So with that, we've just created an entire game in a game engine, which means that this can be exported, put on Steam, put on itch.io, and I did not write a single line of code. In fact, I didn't even click on anything in the editor besides play to verify that the game is doing what we need to do, and to make decisions on future prompts. Uh, it is at a really impressive point, and I don't see other people talking about this. A couple of things to note. First, context and the size of the context window are super important. I mean, we're starting to see that I'm using 53% of the context window, and it's telling me that I need to compact it, um, or clear it. As the game gets bigger, these file systems are going to start to get bigger, and it's going to be hard to manage with context. I believe that the key to dealing with this is using the Claude MD file and actually making more MD files for different parts of your file system in order for it to go through and understand everything quickly. But off the bat, Claude Code has become an insanely strong tool. You see, it's something I set up in a relatively short amount of time. And let's say I had absolutely no game development knowledge at all, I would have been able to build something like this pretty fast. And, this is in a state where I can go upload it on the internet for other people to play. And if you're trying to make money, you can charge for this as well. Not saying that you should. Anyways, I just want to show my process, and kind of introduce you guys, because I think Claude Code is pretty insane. It's going to change a lot of workflows for how people program video games in the future. Anyways, please like and subscribe. If you like the video, I'm going to post a lot more. Try and get my content better. And I will see you. Bye.